What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So, before I get into this video, I want to give a big shout out to the brother Aram for the donation to the channel via the PayPal. Much respect to Aram for showing love to Too Raw for TV, aka Too Raw for Sports. So, this is a question that I was asked by a subscriber, and that is, now I did add one particular player to this equation, and that's Michael Adams. But generally speaking, someone asked me, could this team win a championship? A team with Hank Gathers, Larry Bird, Len Bias, and Reggie Lewis. And to be honest with you, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out scenarios how this team would play in the NBA. So this is what the scenario is in my head that makes sense. Of course, obviously, none of the tragedies that befell these players happen. Len Bias doesn't suffer the acute cocaine-induced heart attack in '86. Hank Gathers doesn't suffer the cardiac arrest in 1990. And Reggie Lewis doesn't die of a similar situation in 1993. So what happens? So what I'm assuming is, after the Boston Celtics win their championship in 1986, Len Bias comes aboard, spends maybe a year or two coming off the bench, because the team already is winning titles, and you're not really going to change a super team, like that, right? But eventually, in this scenario, I think Boston's going to have to make some changes. I think the big change would be, I'm trying to think about it. I know in '88, in real life, they traded Danny Ainge after '87, '88. After he led the league in three-pointers made, Boston traded him to Sacramento. Let's go with that same scenario. Let's say they trade Danny Ainge. That makes way for Reggie Lewis to get into the starting lineup. Okay? Let's say by '88, '89, let's say Bird still got hurt, right? Let's say Bird still got hurt and didn't play but 6 games in '88, '89. So, let's say by that point, Len Bias is sharing minutes at small forward and power forward. Kevin McHale starts coming off the bench more and more often. Okay? Robert Parrish is still there. And Len Bias and Reggie Lewis start really asserting themselves as Boston Celtics. Okay. Before the start of the '89-'90 season, the Boston Celtics make a very unpopular but ultimately fruitful trade. Draft day, they trade Kevin McHale. Let's say they trade him to, I don't know, whatever the hell the worst team in the NBA was, for the first overall pick in 1990. And they trade Robert Parrish for some future picks and, a quality big man and some cash or something, okay? Let's say, I don't know, James Donaldson or something, right? Going into 1990-91, now you have Hank Gathers when the season starts. So you have Hank Gathers there in Boston. Larry Bird, he moves to power forward. Reggie Lewis is at shooting guard. Len Bias is at small forward. And let's say by that point in time they have Michael Adams, because I think Michael Adams would fit into an up-tempo situation. And they hire Hank Gather's coach from college, which I believe was Paul Westhead, who of course had the famous 7 seconds or less offense with the Lakers, who won a title back in the early 80s, which we all saw the Showtime winning time. Yeah, he was the coach for Hank Gathers in La Loya, what was it, Marymount? Whatever the hell you call the name of the college. I be forgetting sometimes how to pronounce it. But Hank Gather's coach, he's now the coach of the Boston Celtics. The reason why I had to put this up like that, because I can't see Hank Gathers playing in a traditional offense. His size, 6'7", 215, but let's bulk him up to 230, right? Let's say 230, 235 ultimately. But he's still only 6'7". I think he's going to struggle in the trenches, as far as being a traditional low post center, half court. I think he's going to struggle in that scenario. I think what would be best for him is a high octane run and gun like they did in real life, when La Loya was averaging like 120-some points a game in college. It's going to have to be one of the highest scoring teams in the history of the NBA. They're going to be extremely fun to watch. And you got some gazelles on this team. Hank Gathers, in this scenario, a healthy Hank Gathers, Len Bias, Reggie Lewis. They're going to be the bulk of the offense. Larry Bird now is going to transition to being more of a facilitator. You know what I'm saying? Still can score a little bit, 18 points a game, maybe 17, but more of a facilitator. Almost like something like a much, much improved Draymond Green. Except for he's not a good defender. Doesn't pretend to be. But a much better shooter. And you still have to respect the shot of Michael Adams, who can be a little erratic with the three, but in this scenario with all these offensive threats, maybe shoots a little bit better. Let's say the Celtics lead the NBA in scoring. Let's say they average 124 points a game. The problem is, historically, high-octane teams don't win championships. But there are exceptions. Could this team be the exception? Well, it's going to have to take a commitment to playing smart, taking high-quality shots, high percentage shots, and on defense at least being adequate. Because the talent is there offensively, but there's some flaws with these guys, you know what I'm saying? Reggie Lewis is fine. Bird is aging. Michael Adams is undersized, another great defender. So the bench is going to have to be showing up. Like, the bench is going to have to make up for some of the deficiencies of this starting lineup. Shooting, a mixture of some shooting, especially on perimeter, some size from the bench. Let's say James Donaldson stays on, comes off the bench. So you got some size, rebounding, shot blocking on the bench. Some guys come on the bench to play defense. Some shooting. Because you got enough offense. Maybe. Does this extend Larry Bird's career? Perhaps. But I can't see Bird playing past 1993. The way that he said that his back was killing him by 92, even the allure of winning titles, I don't know if it's enough for Bird to endure more than one more year. But that's just my opinion. Now, theoretically, Bird could win a couple more titles, maybe 2. theoretically. But that's just my opinion. Tell me what you guys think about this team.